Let's get more now on this story and the issue of sexual assault on college campuses in the U.S. David Folkenflik is a correspondent for National Public Radio, and he has covered this story extensively. He joins us this morning. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
So we heard a reporter there say she is standing by this story, but you actually had a chance to speak to the reporter before Rolling Stone issued the retraction. What did she have to say?
Well, her name's Sabrina Rubin Erdely. She's a reporter who's done a lot and been very interested in this very issue. The questions posed to her were really about her approach and her methods, and particularly about her decision, from my part and from the part of other media critics. The question is about her decision not to approach the man, even under a pseudonym, that Jackie accused in the piece of having been the ringleader of this gang rape, the 7-person gang rape. I mean, the reporter was trying to do a larger look at campus rape at University of Virginia, and there are real issues there.
And didn't Jackie, the woman in the story, didn't she say, I don't want you to contact the man who's responsible? Wasn't that part of the reasoning behind the reporter's decision?
That's right. Erdely said that Jackie, as she was called in the story, was under great distress, and that she and editors were very worried about her emotional state. And they decided victims who come forward are so often blamed, so often mistrusted, they want to take the extra step. What they failed to do is take the extra steps on behalf of their readers, on the behalf of facts. Facts are not good or bad to a story. Facts are facts, and you present what you know and you present what you don't know in a story this complex and this complicated. They failed to do that.
Rolling Stone hasn't said specifically why they're backing away from the story and why they have questions about it now. Obviously, Jackie's story was only one of a number in this story, but it was by far the most prominent. Has the entire story been discredited now?
Well, it's very tough for this story to be the vehicle for really assailing University of Virginia's approach to sexual assault and rape. You know, it is one of only about a dozen campuses across the country, I'm told, that's under a rather severe federal review of how it handles such matters. And yet, this story was not only the emotional core, it was presented almost in a narrative form as though it were proven fact. There was one or two she said, low in the account, but other on-the-record accounts of rape by women who graduated the University of Virginia were presented very carefully attributed. And the difference in tone, I think, really meant that people who read that story came away wanting to run to the barricades.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you touch upon that, and that's sort of, I reread the article again last night. When you read it, she is the mouthpiece for a broader conversation. What happens to that conversation now? Because I think, you know, that fraternity was suspended. The university said, we'll take a hard look at what we're doing when these assault allegations pop up. But what happens to the national dialogue now that this has been proven potentially false?
Well, so there are two questions. One is what happens at UVA, and the second question is, of course, the national dialogue. If you look at the University of Virginia, I think it's fair to say this will blunt some of the criticism, and at the same time, the University of Virginia appears to have real issues to confront. And I retweeted a gentleman last night who's a law professor at UVA, very active, trying to raise consciousness about campus rape. At the same time, he says, you know, I've been nervous about and had misgivings about this story from the beginning because of Jackie's account, but we must regroup and we must come back. They may feel that once they've got the attention, even through this imperfect vessel, that they want to keep it there.
It's a big story, certainly a big one to have to recant a portion of. David Folkenflik, thank you so much.
You bet.